Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and for today's video, uh, I'm going to give to you a brief summary and overview of the chapter 11. So previously, I've already made a full summary of chapter 11, and for today's video, what I'm going to share to you is a brief summary with an overview of a chapter 11 in the NetAcad. So my name is Dharyll from But Stay Tuned. So without further ado, let's get started discussing things here in the chapter 11 in the NetAcad. So basically in this chapter, we will know or explain how a small network of directly connected segment is created and configured and verified. So we will also able here to identify the devices used in small network, the protocols that are used in the small network, and explain on how a small network serves as the basis on the larger networks. So of course here we're going to be dealing with the network security. So in the network security, we're going to configure switches and routers with devices hardening features to enhance the security and identify the security vulnerabilities and identify the general mitigation techniques and to configure a network devices with device hardening features to mitigate the to avoid or to mitigate the security threats. So of course, we're going to be dealing here the basic performance, which is use the common show commands and utilities to establish be able to establish relative performance baseline for the network. We're going to of course use the output of the ping commands to establish relative network performance. Use the output of the tracers commands to establish, of course, the network performance. We also know how to use commands to verify the configurations and the status of the network devices, and to use host and the iOS commands to acquire information about the devices in a network. So, and we're going to deal with the network troubleshooting, of course, which is to troubleshoot a network, describe the common network troubleshooting methodologies, and also the troubleshoot cable issues and the interface issues and the troubleshoot issues with device in the network. So basically the chapter 11 began with an introduction to one topologies or one technologies, which include on how they map to the lowest three layers of the OSI model and the different one concepts, and connectivity techniques were also introduced, and including routing the point-to-point, the circuit switch, and the packets switch connections. So a look at a different carrier lines and speeds. Compare the different between the between the and the E carrier systems in North America and Europe, respectively. So, point-to-point or least line connections were looked at next. So, including concept and the configuration of both HDLC and the PPP on the Cisco routers, while the HDLC is the default encapsulation used on synchronous serial interfaces on the Cisco routers. So also the BPP provides a standard method of encapsulating data over a point-to-point links, and it includes the ability to configure additional features like mutual authentication using the CHOP or the PAP. So the ISDN was introduced next as a circuit switching technology that use all digital link between locations, and configuration of both dedicated and demand dial ISDN connections were explored, as was a breakdown of the ISDN services, protocols, elements, reference point, and standards. So this was followed by the detailed overview of the frame relay, a popular packet switching technology that were used to interconnect the locations using virtual circuit. So this include a look at not only in the frame relay communication process, but also on the way in which virtual circuits are identified, provisioned, and configured on the Cisco router. So the configuration of the frame relay for both production and lab environments was also discussed. Uh, Supporting and the growing small network requires being familiar with the protocols and the network applications running over the network. So, protocols analyzers enables a network to professionally to quickly compile the statistical information about the traffic flows on the network. So, information gathered by the protocol analyzer is evaluated based on the source and the destination of the traffic, as well as types of traffic being sent. So this analysis can be used by a network technician to make decisions on how and to manage the traffic more efficiently. Common network protocols included the Telnet, DNS, POP, SMTP, DHCP, FTTP, and FTP. So it is necessarily to consider the also the security threats and vulnerabilities when planning a network implementation. So all network devices must be secured, and this include routers, switches, and end user devices, and even security devices. So network need to be protected from malicious software such as viruses, Trojan horses, and worms. So antiviruses software can detect most virus and many Trojans host applications and prevent them from spreading in the network. So there are ways on how effectively to mitigate or to avoid a worm attack is to download a security update from the operating system vendor and patch all the vulnerable system. So, of course, the network also be protected from the network attack. So the network attacks can be classified into three major categories, which is the reconnaissance, the access attack, and the denial of service. So there are several ways to protect a network from attacks. So on the when it comes to on the Cisco iOS devices, the show version commands are used to verify and troubleshoot some basic hardware and software components during the boot process. So to view the information for all network interfaces on the router, the show IP interface command is used. So the show IP interface brief can also be used to view more abbreviated output than the show IP interface command. So Cisco Discovery Protocol is the CDP in the Cisco proprietary protocol that runs at the data link layer. So because of the CDP operates at the data link layer, two or more Cisco network devices such as routers that supports different networks layer protocols can learn about each other. Even the layer 3 connectivity does not exist. So basically, all in all, the chapter 11 in the NetAcad is the combinations of all of the previous chapter from chapter 0 to 10 up to 11. So here you will learn all of the components that you need to learn into introduction to networks. So that's it for today's video. And if you like this video and if you learned something, please leave a like and share. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.